I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your weekly forecast for the week of Monday, June 11th to Sunday, June 17th, 2018. Hey, before I get started, I did just want to mention one thing. The reason why I didn't mention this earlier is because it actually kind of came to me last minute. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but decided that I need to and that I should. And I'm going to do a live webinar on the new moon in Gemini, which is occurring this Wednesday. If you want to learn more about what the new moon is about, what it means for you, for your sign specifically, please do join me on Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time, and 9:30 p.m. Pacific Time, where I am going to talk about new moon in Gemini and break it down by the signs. This to me is the first new moon in Gemini since Saturn left Sagittarius. That's important to me because because Gemini is the opposite sign of Sagittarius. So whatever is affecting Sagittarius will ultimately affect Gemini. I think with Saturn and Sagittarius for the past few years, even though it's no longer there, it was really all about traveling, doing something new, exploring. And while we were trying to do something new, even if it was not easy to do, I think we were neglecting some of the things closer to home. We were neglecting our mind, the way we think about things, integrating all of these new experiences into our life. And I think this new moon is saying, time to go back to the past, to retrieve some of the things that you forgot, that you neglected, to do them better this time around. With Mercury in Cancer to sextile with Uranus, I think there's a real chance to get some good insights on what you need to feel more comfortable emotionally, to build more stability into your life in some way. However, I do think that some of these insights that you receive could be a little bit uncomfortable, especially with Mercury in a square to Chiron at this time, and could be a little bit upsetting for your relationships and for your financial situations. Now that you're getting more of these insights, processing things more in the mind, going back to retrieve some things, your relationships are like, wait a second, I didn't know that this was going on. I didn't know that this was happening. I don't know how I feel about this. That could come in, or maybe a lot of things going on with finances again that could be uncomfortable at this new moon. So if you want to hear more about that, how to handle it, what it means for your sign, again, please click the link down below in my description box to sign up for that. It is on discount for my birthday. So I hope you all enjoy that, and I do hope that I will see you there. Now, what I'm going to get started with today is actually an alignment that's going to go on the middle of the week, starting on Wednesday. I'm just going to start there because I think it's kind of a big one. A lot of things are connecting to it, a little unusual, and then I'll work my way for the week around from there. All right, what I'm going to start with Mercury moving into Cancer this week on Wednesday, which for you, Libra, is going to be your 10th house of your career, your reputation, your social standing, and your life direction. I think what you're trying to figure out here in the mind, Mercury, is how you can be more comfortable with your career, with where your life is going, how you can create a career, a reputation, a life direction that you feel really resonates with you emotionally at your core, okay? So I think that's what's going on. Now, on Wednesday, as Mercury moves into Cancer, it is going to make a sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which is going to be your 8th house of changes and of endings and beginnings. I do like this because it is a sextile. And I think what this can bring perhaps are some positive conversations that can yield some positive insights. They might be a little bit unexpected, but I do like to think they will be good, about some change perhaps you need to make in your career, something you need to end or begin. Possibly a financial investment, some money you need to spend in order to put your life in a better place. Okay, so I do like this. Could be a little destabilizing with the 8th house coming in. Again, maybe having to make a big change in your life, some instability, but I do like to think you're starting to get some more insights here on what you need to create a career that you really want, a life direction that really resonates deeply with you, even if it means you have to rearrange some things in the process, okay? So that's what I think is going on there on Wednesday. Now, while this is happening, this pretty aspect, we have a little bit of a hard one occurring almost at the same time, and that's because Mercury, as it's making the sextile to Uranus, is making a square to Chiron in Aries, and that for you is in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships, also of the one-on-one variety, usually, and of contracts. Okay, so I think what you're figuring out now is more and more of what kind of career you want, what kind of life direction, reputation really resonates with you, even if you have to make some changes to get it. And perhaps it's a little bit hard for your relationships to come in. Maybe you have to change some things around with your relationships. Maybe the changes in your life then require a change in your relationships, or maybe the other people in your life don't know how they feel about this life direction that you now want. All right, and I think it's just a matter here of doing the career, moving forward in the career that you want, the life direction that will make you feel better, even if some other people are upset about it, or even if There are some things in regards to your relationships or contracts that that you're trying to bring together with you on the journey. All right, so that's what's going on there. Now, as it's going on a little bit later, Thursday and Friday of this week, we then have Venus move into Leo, which is going to be your 11th house of your goals, your dreams, and your hopes for the future. And I think what's going on as you're thinking about your career, where you want your life to go, I think there's also part of you that's trying to figure out, well, what goals, what dreams of mine am I reaching? What about the future? You're trying to think about your future, hopefully in a better way that makes you happier now that you're trying to get some of your career and other big stuff situated, all right? So I think that starts to happen on Thursday and Friday. As to where, however, Mercury is making a positive aspect to Uranus, Venus is making a hard one. So perhaps you're starting to figure out what you really want in your career, where you really want your life to go in a way that really resonates with you, even if you have to change some things. But maybe it's envisioning the bigger picture that's hard. Maybe it's getting inspired by this change. Maybe it's trying to figure out how you need to associate with people differently, groups of people, in order to step into some of these things that you see for yourself. That could be a little difficult. And of course, getting other people on board with you, maybe seeing a future with your relationships, is also hard. So I feel like you're starting to get an idea of what you want or need in your career, but now it's like, okay, well, what does this mean for the future? Okay, this makes me comfortable right now to put my life in this direction, but maybe the challenge is trying to dream new dreams or see things differently, or to adjust your perspective to some kind of different future in the process that you may need to work out, and again, to get people on board with you, all right? So that, to me, is a lot of what's happening. All right, while that's going on, we also do have Mars here in a conjunction with the South Node in Aquarius. And that for you is going to be your 5th house of happiness, also of love, romance, kids, if you have any kids, passion projects as well. So I think what's going on is you're trying to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? But especially with Mars in your 5th house, about to go retrograde on the South Node, I think you're trying to find more enjoyment in life. You're trying to do more of what you love, but maybe it's frustrating. It's hard for you. It's taken some time. You know, who would have thought that being happy can be so hard? And I think you're just trying here to bring everything together. And I think before you can start to feel happy, maybe needing to figure out your career, what life direction, the big stuff will really make you feel better. And then maybe also needing to go over some old things in the past that you used to enjoy, so that you can take them into new chapters or do things differently in a different way, so that you can start to be happier from here on out. Even if you have to let go of some old passions or do some old things that you liked in different ways. So I think there's a little bit of working some of that out. Of course, with this being the 5th house, maybe having to rearrange your relationship to some children, if you have any kids, or romantic relationship as well, so that you can start to put your life in a direction you feel better about. All right, so I see that happening there. Also, on Wednesday, we do have a new moon here in Gemini. And that for you is going to be in your 9th house of something new and different that you have not done before. So I think there's a lot of fresh energy that's coming this week for you to feel more excited about your life, to do something you haven't done, to take a risk almost, to travel. So I do like it. I think there are some positive things coming in. It's just a matter of seeing your future differently than you have before, getting other people on board with you the best that you can to see the vision that you see, and about being patient as everything comes together. It's okay if you don't feel quite happy quite yet. It's okay if you don't feel as joyful as you want to feel. You will be. It's just a matter of reviewing some things in your heart, working some things out in your heart here, and allowing yourself to see a different future, associate with different people in some way, okay? So that you really can begin to create a life that you like and a career that you like better. Okay, so we've got that. Neptune as well, stationing this week, about to go retrograde next week in your 6th house of your job and your daily routines. So it could be a lot of focus here on your job and what you want on the day-to-day, on what really resonates with you, so that you can create more of a job you really like. Maybe as well, reviewing some things, the past when it comes to your job. Again, a lot of things in the chart saying things from the past. Dealing with an old job, an old set of daily routines, so that you can hopefully create things that resonate more with you on the inside. Work out some of the details in your life in a very physical way, so that you can start to feel better. All right, and then the last thing that I'll mention is going to happen on Saturday. with Mercury and an opposition with Saturn, and with Saturn in your 4th house of home and a family, and what that could bring perhaps are some big decisions, choices, or some hard or serious conversations about your home, about your family, about where you live, about how you interact with family members. All right, I really do think, Libra, you're trying to create a career, a life direction that you like better, that really resonates with you. And it may be hard because maybe other people don't see what you see, and that you got to try to bring other people on board. And maybe now you have to change the way that you do things at home. You know, you have to rearrange things with home, with family, rearrange the foundation of your life, so that you really can begin to do more of what you need in a public way to feel much better about your life. Okay, that could be a little bit hard, but I definitely do see you needing to create more of a career, a life that you want, needing to go in that direction, even if it upsets your home, even if you have to make some choices with home and family, even if people, which is hard maybe for a Libra, even if people aren't quite where you want them to be, saying the things that you want, even if the balance in your relationships is not there in the way that you want. I think really needing to be okay with that so that you can get yourself taken care of, put your life in the right place, and hopefully start to see a future for yourself that you can relax into more so than you have previously, and feel happy about by the time all is said and done. All right, so that's what I've got there, Libra. Your card for the week is the Ace of Swords reversed. So this typically is a card when clarity sometimes is hard. Normally when I see the Ace of Swords, I think of like breakthrough moments, like massive things happening in the mind where it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know, and all of a sudden, you know, I got this insight. And sometimes when we get the Ace of Swords reversed, it's like our thinking's muddled, our thinking's cloudy and unclear. I'm not really sure why that is, Libra. I mean, Mercury's in a sextile with Uranus. It's typically very good for insights. But maybe what you're doing is focusing more on the negative. Maybe instead of you thinking about a big change, you need to create a career you really want. Maybe with Venus, your ruler in the 11th, squaring Uranus. Maybe you're focusing instead on, well, I don't see a future doing this thing. I don't want to associate with these people. You know, I don't want to do this differently, change my goals for the future or whatever, you know, change the groups of people that I associate with. And I think needing to not focus on the negative here, needing to focus on the positive. Even if you got a lot of changes, even if things are kind of difficult to bring together, even if you have to readjust some things in your mind, I think if you can focus on the positive, if you can see the opportunity that you have right now to put your life in a better place, even if some of the details are a little fuzzy, I think it's going to help you here to be better, to get more inspired, more excited about life, and to not be so hazy in the mind, to not be so depressed. All right, and really needing to let yourself do things differently, to reinvent yourself, to make some change so that you can make sure you're okay, even if some other things are not quite where you want them to be yet. All right. So that's what I've got for you this week, Libra. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.